Remember the Titans, the 2000 movie by Jerry Bruckheimer. The story of a football team who not only had to learn how to play together with new players, but players of a different color, when all they had been taught up until this point was to stay away from each other. Today I will be sharing with you the different styles of leadership that I see depicted in the movie, the type of followership that I see, and what organizational cultural concerns that I see that they overcame. So join me as we look at this fantastic movie piece by piece. Coach Boone led with transformational leadership from day one. Our textbook says that this type of leadership is the process in which leaders and followers raise one another to higher levels of morality and motivation. Now, Coach Boone was placed at T.C. Williams High School. He was not there because he asked to be. However, he showed up day one, ready to coach. As soon as he was promoted to head coach, he went to work challenging the players, black and white, to higher levels of morality. One of my favorite scenes from the movie is the day that they are leaving for football camp and the buses were segregated. Coach Boone makes everyone get off the bus and he separates the players into offense and defense. This forced black and white players to not only ride beside each other, which was unheard of in that day, but they also had to room together when they got to camp. Coach Boone wanted the racial barriers set aside so that they could focus on the most important thing, being a team. One of my favorite quotes from the movie is when he tells the players, "You don't let anything come between us. Nothing tears us apart." In Greek mythology, the Titans were even greater than the gods. They ruled their universe with absolute power. Well, that football field out there, that is our universe. Let's rule it like Titans. Coach Yost, on the other hand, led with situational leadership. This is when the leader must adjust his style to fit the development level of the followers that he is trying to influence. Coach Yost was used to teaching and coaching only one type of player. And I'm not just talking about white players, even though that was the biggest difference in his coaching career. As the team grew and new people came, Coach Boone had to have a talk with Coach Yost about his coaching. He let him know that it was not good to treat one player one way and another player another way just because of their color difference. Coach Boone at one point in the movie says, "The world don't give a you-know-what about how sensitive these kids are, especially the black kids. You ain't doing these kids a favor by patronizing them. You're crippling them. You are crippling them for life." I feel that Coach Yost was dealing with a team of level 4 players. They were all level 4 in one area or another, but still all level 4s. This is when followers, or the players in this case, are mature and the leaders should use delegation. The follower knows what needs to be done and how to do it and are motivated to do it. Coach Yost did not mind moving someone from offense to defense or vice versa if he saw that that's where their level 4 readiness was. One part of being an authoritarian leader is for the leader to dictate policies and procedures and to decide what goals are to be achieved. Coach Boone did a fantastic job at this. He came in really as an outcast. He was put into a leadership position when not many people liked him or thought that he had what it took to get the job done, all because of his color. But he never let that shake him, and he never wavered in his confidence. He had a set plan and specific goals for his team, and he was determined to make those happen. I think at times he may have been a little too aggressive. At one point in the movie he says, "This is not a democracy, it's a dictatorship. I am the law." But aggression won. And it's because he also mixed in true compassion for his team as well. He never cared just about football. He also was concerned about his players' futures, and that made all the difference. To go along with that, he led with expert power. And because respect from his team, because of his heart for them, he was able to produce credible leadership. I would definitely emulate his leadership style any day of the week. The followership I see. Coach Yost was an effective follower. Effective followers think for themselves and are active organizational players. Now, he did not start out as this. In fact, his plan was to walk away once Coach Boone got appointed to head coach. But when the white players on the team said that they were not going to play unless he was coaching, he decided to stay. He changed his mind, he stayed, and he went on to continue assuming ownership of the team even though his title changed. I could literally quote scenes over and over where I see Coach Yost being a great effective follower. But since I have to narrow it down to one, I'll use this one. The scene where Coach Boone has called a timeout during the game, and Coach Yost convinces him to do something different. He puts Rev in the game, even though he's hurt. And it pays off. I am in no way saying that Coach Boone could not think for himself, but this was a risk, and part of being an effective follower is to be a risk taker. It was definitely a scene of appropriate interaction in my book. Our textbook says that real change is hard work. That is such a true statement right there. Transformational organizational change does not happen unless formidable barriers and challenges can be overcome. Now, it is very obvious in this movie that the barrier that needed to be overcome was the race issue. Both Coach Boone and Coach Yost had their work cut out for them when it came to the cultural concerns of their time. There are 4 phases in the change process. In order to have change in an organization, they must follow these. They are: number 1, refusal to accept the status quo. Number 2, create a vision for future success. Number 3, initiation of the change process. And number 4, sustaining the change process. Both men eventually got to a place where they together implemented these 4 phases, and that ultimately led to the change that they both so desperately wanted and needed in their team and in their own lives as well. One of the main things that these men had to overcome was conflict within the team, and they did this extremely well. By the end of the movie, the players no longer saw color. They saw a brotherhood, something that was so uncommon at that time in our world. Even though that I feel Coach Boone's leadership contributed more to the unity of the team, it did not take long for Coach Yost to catch up. Which is why, at the end of the movie, when he was told that he was no longer in the Hall of Fame, it didn't really bother him that much. My favorite quote by him was this: "Trust the soul of a man rather than the look of him." Now, he said a mouthful right there. He finally saw something bigger than football. Think about this. Think about being in a comfortable leadership position. You've been doing it for a while, you're confident in your position, and you're pretty sure that that's where you'll be from now on and things are just going smoothly. And then one day, everything changes. You go from comfortable to uncomfortable and challenged all in one day. To say that I feel that these 2 men handled themselves extremely well in front of who mattered the most is an understatement. They did not always see eye to eye on everything, but they complemented each other, and they complemented each other well. And to me, that is a very important part of leadership. Together, they worked to form not just a football team, but a camaraderie, a team of champions. These 2 men proved that you can set aside prejudice, pride, and just plain stupidity if you keep focused on something greater. Today, I want to leave you with a quote from Muhammad Ali. Champions aren't made in the gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. Thank you.